What's the most important thing that you've ever learned about health?
As a doctor. I have a lot to say on this topic. This is a very big topic. I could probably talk for hours on this topic. Yeah. But I will say the most important thing that I have learned is that our bodies are meant to heal themselves.
Okay.
They're actually meant to be in health. Our bodies are meant to be in health, not in disease. And we're not. Right. And so anyone who's suffering from a chronic disease, an autoimmune disease, cancer, any of these things, like, we have the power to heal that. Our bodies are meant, like, they want to be in health. They don't want to be in disease.
Sickness, yeah.
I actually had an autoimmune disease, and when I was, I think, 25, I was diagnosed with it, and they said I was going to suffer with this for the rest of my life. There was nothing I could do with it, and they wanted to put me on a medication, steroid, for the rest of my life. And it's like, well, there were other options, like
by
the way, and I think when you sign up to take a medication, that's the easy way out. That's really the easy way out. There are so many ways that we can heal ourselves, and the biggest ones I've found are through diet. That's the biggest one, and there's so many conversations here on diet, but the biggest things I've noticed are just alcohol and caffeine. Those are two really big ones that really mess with our systems, and they're not meant to be in there in large quantities, essentially. But then also, so besides your diet, there is your sleep, your stress levels, and your emotional state. Your emotions affect your health more than we are really aware of. And so really getting your mental state and your emotional state under control is really, really important. So again, if you're just looking for the easy way, I mean, it's like anything in life. If there's an easy way out, like we've talked about before, of like, with money and stuff like that, you're going to try and take the cheap option or just take the easy way out, take a pill, you're going to sign yourself up for something, a lifetime of health issues. There's something else. You're not getting to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is one of those things that I listed, most likely. And then the other thing that I've learned is that if somebody tells you the only way that you're going to the only way that you're going to lose weight, the only way that you're going to sleep better is if you take this medication or you eat this special fruit, or like stop eating this, like there's always fads in the health arena, and if someone tells you that, then they're lying. Or maybe it worked for them, or maybe it works for a handful of people, but it doesn't always work for everybody. We are all individual peoples. We're all individual people with our own bodies, and we all have to trust our own bodies. It's really important to trust our own bodies. And so if somebody tells you that, don't be like, oh, you're lying, I'm not going to believe you. Try it. It's worth a try. Try a little bit of it. Don't buy, Costco size of it and take it every day, regardless of how you feel. That's not the right way to do it. Try it, see if it makes an improvement, and if it doesn't, try something else. There's nothing, it's a game of figuring out your own body. Medicine has really taken the power of our own health away from us and put it in the hands of somebody else. We all know how to heal ourselves, and it just is a matter of really figuring out your body and learning about your body. So you can heal yourself. No matter what.
If you believe, I think that's most of it, is if you believe you can, you got a great chance of it happening. But if you don't believe you can, then you've already given up before we start, kind of a thing.
That's true.
I mean, for me, the most important thing I've learned about health is probably, talk to a professional.
Yeah.
About all this stuff anyways. That's just like the smart thing to do. But secondarily...
Get lots of opinions.
Oh, you know what? Always get a second opinion. You took a test. Remember you took a test and it came back like you're in category 4 death, and you're like, I feel fine, but now I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
And it turned out that they gave her somebody else's report.
They swapped the test.
The test result went to the different person.
They were about to cut me open.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just get a second opinion. Yeah. That's another great one. That's a good one. That's a good one. But what I was going to share, that's not as good as that one, but I think it's still worth sharing, is we all pay the same price for our health. And what I mean to say is, a lot of people are like, oh, people have made fun of you for your dietary choices, I'm sure, right? They just don't understand why you have those choices. Well, same thing for us as well. So We do gluten-free, we're dairy-free, we've cut out a lot of, we have like very little bits of sugar. I had no caffeine, no coffee, no alcohol, no smoking, none of this, none of that. We don't do any of that stuff. And what's interesting is, people ask me, Jonah, how do you have so much energy? I'm like, it's because I don't take things that give me energy so that I can naturally have energy on command. And it's kind of interesting, but what I wanted to share is we all pay the same price for health. I see a lot of people who think that they're taking a shortcut by saving money by buying food that's of maybe debatable, lesser quality. Now, I don't know if that means organic or minimally processed, or there's lots of different meanings of that. GMOs, that's a whole different conversation. But what I do think is that a lot of people that eat like foods that are cheaper, that have fillers, inferior ingredients, or they have chemicals, they have preservatives, that they're fueled by sugar and all these different things, hydrogenated oils and all these different various things. It's cheaper. Sure, of course it's cheaper. That's how they get you to buy it. Because if they told you what was in it, you probably wouldn't do it. And then on the flip side is people say, oh, you're spending an extra $1 on that organic banana. That's funny, haha, point fun and all these things. It's like, well, here's the thing. Here's what the thing we can all look at is we all pay the price. Meaning that if the person has McDonald's hamburgers every day, or Wendy's, or I'm not picking anybody specifically, but if you think of the fast food industry, I think we can all agree that it's not exactly having like a top, there's a difference in the food supply. Yeah, there's obviously the
quality
there's
of
a quality, right? So if someone's having fast food, they're having burgers and French fries every day, and they think, oh, I'm saving $2 a day by having these French fries. Well, there's oils, there's fats, there's all the stuff they put in it, the salt, the sodium. So you think, oh, I'm getting ahead by saving $2 a day. And I know what that's like, because I used to be sitting in the car thinking I got $16 a day that I can allocate to my food budget. How do I have 3 meals and survive on $16 a day? That was my budget. And that's hard. And you got to make a choice of what you do with that. And I remember just going like, okay, I can get this microwave meal, I could do this, but microwaves, who knows what's going on in the microwave? A lot of things we got to choose. It can't be perfect, right? One day I guess we can ultimately get to a place where we can just choose whatever we want. And that's a great motive. That's a great motivation to have goals and dreams and work hard, right? But I just think that if we're eating right, yeah, it's more expensive in the beginning, but what are we saving on the back end? We all pay the same price. So if someone who's saving $2 a day on food because they're buying the lower quality, cheaper stuff, well, eventually those chemicals, those preservatives, those things start adding up in our bloodstream, in our liver, and wherever, all these different places, and then eventually something happens, and it's like, well, now we got to go in for an actual procedure or surgery, or there's a medical condition that develops that requires medications and consultations and traveling and all these stressors. It's like if we just didn't eat that, so it's like, okay, $2 a day we save, but we all pay for it at some point. So you can think of the person that just spends moderate amount across the board versus someone that spends a little bit of amount, and then eventually over time, over life, then there's major challenges coming that I've noticed. So again, speak to a professional. We're not giving any nutrition advice. We can't do that, and you shouldn't take this as that. So speak to obviously a qualified professional that can work personally with you, obviously, but just from our experience, I think that's health is super key. It's like the first pillar. If you're feeling good. We had I'll share one more quick thing and we'll wrap up.
Yeah.
So there's a client that came to our divorce coaching world, and actually I think it was, I forget exactly who it was, but we hear a lot of stories. There's a lot daily. We have like dozens of stories come out every single day of people looking for help. There's like a lot of stories. So I mix them up sometimes. I apologize. But the point is, the story came in, and she said that her best friend was going through a really nasty divorce, and it was constant conflict, constant arguing, just on and on, bleeding money on attorney spend, costs of court stuff, etc. And her friend developed cancer. And so one day she's speaking to her friend after the divorce, and she says, I know 100% that the breast cancer that I have right now, 100% is because I went through this 2-year just chronic stress, cortisol in the bloodstream every single day, panic-induced, situations from her ex-partner, and that created this chronic illness. And she eventually passed away from cancer. And it's like, you think that this particular woman finally got freedom from her ex, only to develop cancer and then not make it from the cancer. It's like, what a mind messer to keep it, G rated. But you gotta take health seriously. You gotta get rid of people in your life that are toxic. You gotta go live the dream. Go hang out with happy people. Go do happy things. Get rid of the bad. Enter the good. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like we both have got so much to say on health, but you just gotta look after yourself and do what you can, and smile.
I'll be your heart and temptation.